You're listening to Nighttime Confessions with your host Cynthia and co-host Judy. Pour yourself a glass of wine and welcome to the show.
In today's episode, we'll be discussing and reminiscing about stories of first love, our first heartbreak, and how we remember them. Our first writer states, "My first love was immature and shallow compared to the love I have for my wife. With your first love, there is an overwhelming sense of emotion that you don't know how to deal with just yet. The next time, and the time after that, and the time after that, you get better at loving and being loved, and are being able to develop those feelings more deeply and with a better understanding."
I think first love is always, it seems like the biggest love for me, because it's like when everything is so new, all of these feelings are so new, it's so like huge to you. I remember when I broke up with my first love, it literally felt like the end of the world for me. And a lot of people probably feel this way because you have all these huge emotions that you've never had before. And when it ends, it's like, oh my God, am I ever going to be able to find someone like that again? Is this, I don't know. It's also because first loves usually happen most of the time during your teenage years. Your hormones are very high.
All over the place. Yeah.
Your emotions are already very heightened. But
yeah, no, I agree with that. But the thing for me, Kieran was technically my first like real love. What I mean by that, it was like what I think about past relationships, and by past relationships I mean when I was like 13, 14, 15, literally. They were like, I like this person. It's like a crush, like puppy love. And those didn't last like ever, like more than like a month or two. And that for me, I wasn't like head over heels in love with that person. I was just like really like them, right? And it fizzled out quite quickly for me. But with Kieran, it was different. Like, as you said, big emotions. When I first saw him, I was like, oh, this is love, like the whole anime, doki, like love heart eyes. That was me for Kieran. And I can say this wholeheartedly. And that was the big emotion thing for me. And it was unusual because we stayed together for so long. But my gosh, we were fighting over the dumbest things.
yeah.
And like me and Kieran agreed that we were both horny, dumb teenagers back then. But my goodness, we grew a lot. And we're so happy that we're still together.
That's honestly like so amazing. Like I feel like it's the best thing in the world that you were able to fall in love and still be with that person, manage to marry them, have a family with them. Like that's the goal for most people.
Thank you. I got really lucky, but also we're both very stubborn. So we're like, I'll stay with you, but you're mean. That kind of thing. But like literally that was how the conversation went, abridged version.
But it's good. Like you guys stuck it out. You stuck it out through all the hard times when a lot of people would just give up and say, no, it's not worth it anymore.
Yeah,
but, there was that thing that I found on Instagram where they describe first love as something that often happens at a young age. You eventually grow apart and call it quits over silly things, which didn't happen for you, but it happened for me. But when you get older, you may look back and think this wasn't love. But the truth is that it was. It was love for what you knew love to be.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful sentiment. Because like you're so young, like this, like there's not enough life experience to understand it, and you don't have to understand it straight away. Sometimes a first love can be not even like in your teenage years or even when you're a child. It could be later on in life when you have that. And that doesn't mean it wasn't real, right?
No.
And when you look back and reflect on it, you're like, I'm glad that that happened. And now that your scars have healed a bit more, it's really, I think, a nice memory. Would you say that? Even though it was really heartbreaking for you.
I think I remember when I broke up with my first real boyfriend that I was in love with. After like 6 months, I looked back and I was like, was that really love? But now reading this, I'm like, oh yeah, it was love because it was what I knew love to be at that point in my life. So I'm like, I do believe that I was in love with him. He was my first love.
Yeah, definitely. And whenever I see you in a relationship with somebody, you always give it your all, Judy. And I don't think you should ever like doubt yourself whether it was love, because you do love wholeheartedly. I see the love language you give to that person, and I see how much you care about them. And it's just like you can tell when someone is in love with someone with the way that they look at them.
Oh,
And that was something really
you.
special. And I really, I was there for Judy's heartbreaks, obviously, but like I could tell that she was genuinely heartbroken over these people. And, you want it to be lasting forever. Like that was for me with Kieran. And, again, I got very lucky, but with most, like a lot of people out there, it's not the case. But it's just giving yourself the opportunity to say like, yeah, that was love. And now it's time to move on from that.
Yeah, and I feel like you definitely grow after every breakup. I definitely have grown as a person. I've learned a lot of lessons, and it's kind of helped me with my next relationship of what I want in my next relationship, who I want to be with, what kind of things that I like and will not tolerate.
Yeah, and that's really important, especially now when you're looking to find a life partner, because you have those values that you want to share, but also because you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody, right, Judy? So making that plain and clear and very simple, not only to that person but to yourself, just helps in reassuring that all of those past relationships, including the first love, kind of help shape you as a person and what you want as your love life, like your whole life, right? Your life partner. Our second writer recalls, my first love was a girl I started dating in high school. We had a lot of ups and downs and dated for nearly 6 years. We went through college together, started our professional careers, and saw each other through a few health and family scares. She ended up leaving me, moved across the country, and married the guy she dated before me in high school within about 6 months. It hurt. A lot. Looking back, I should have seen the signs, but I made a lot of mistakes and I don't blame her for doing what she did. One night I was talking with her on the phone, just going over some things for some closure. I remember hanging up the phone and feeling this sense of calm. I knew I was going to be okay. A few minutes later, I checked my email and I got a message from a girl through an online dating site I had signed up for. We met for a date a week or so later and we have now been married for 7 years. The pain sucks big time, but soon you'll realize life moves on. The sun still rises. I am proof that it is possible to find someone new and have just as good as, if not better, relationship than you once had.
Oh, that's very nice.
It is, and it sounds sincere too.
Yeah, I liked. Actually, one more important thing is I reckon closure is very important at the end of a relationship. If you don't have closure, I feel like those are the things that keep you from moving on, and you'll always hold on to this. What happened to the relationship? Why did it end? And you'll have this what if scenarios if you don't have closure.
Yeah.
And it kind of hinders you from moving on and finding your next best person.
I think accepting when something has ended is always very hard, but when you overcome that, it becomes like something you can say, I did that, I survived this, and I can move forward with it. And having closure, like you said, Judy, is super important. And I think the way that this person did it was great because it was just like a phone call. The girl was very receptacle to it. She was like, yep, let's have this discussion now, being open and honest. And then having that relief, like I said all I needed to say. They know exactly how I feel, how I felt. And then moving on slowly to finding happiness.
Yeah, and there's always that saying, once a door closes, another one opens.
Yeah.
At the end of one chapter, it's just the beginning of your new chapter. So there's only good things that can come from it.
Absolutely. But it really is true. And I think like to have more ups in your life is to know how to get up from the downs. And having a great support system really helps. So having like that support gives you that opportunity and that push forward.
Yeah. What's that? There's another saying. Once you've hit rock bottom, it's good because you can only go up from here.
Exactly, you can only go up. And like, you know, the guy had a date within like a week or so, and they ended up being married because they were like really perfect for each other. And like that's the thing about life. Surprises are like everywhere. It's like everywhere you turn, there's a new surprise. Sometimes things just happen for a reason, and the best thing could be, just coming at you, but you'll never expect it coming. And I think that's really important, is not to have huge expectations of how to react when you end things, but also like, I'm going to do better than this person and be very bitter about it. It's like, how do you move forward? And this person moved forward really well. They did it in a very graceful way. And look, they, attracted positivity. They attracted a new person in their lives. And because they had that closure, they could have that relationship, a healthy relationship with the new person.
Yeah. That's what I need. I need to be manifesting positive vibes only.
You will. And like, don't, I say this with all the love, like, don't ever go back to a person that's hurt you, or, especially an ex, because it could be a vicious cycle. And I think that, Judy is still single right now in this time of recording. So I'll leave her Instagram details in the description. But yeah, I think, Judy is very, very good at having all of that emotional outburst to me and to her sister, and then moving forward. And she is so resilient, and I think that's what I admire a lot and most about her, is her resilience and organizational skills. Like, come on, it's so good.
Thank you so much.
Our last writer says, I married my first love, and we're still together. I think the reason why we work is because we continue to grow and change together. We don't hinder each other, and we help each other achieve our dreams. I never feel like I'm being held back with him. But there was a learning curve. It took us a bit to get it just right. If you feel like you can't live the life you want with that person, then leave. Life is too short to not do anything and everything you want. It'll be hard and painful, but you will love again, and you'll be surprised at how much you can love another person.
I feel like you would resonate with this one.
I really get what this person is saying, especially when you get to grow up together, and it can be very tumultuous at times. Like, emotions run high and the world seems to revolve around just us, at the time, especially when we were young and didn't have a whole lot of life experiences because we were in high school. But now, like, I feel we have grown up together and experienced new things and really understood ourselves and each other a lot more, definitely. I've calmed down. I have more patience and love and understanding for my husband and now our son. So, I used to get asked by people, like, people would say, like, do you get bored? And I think that's a bit silly to ask. Like, finding new experiences together is always exciting and fun, and being around the person that makes me feel safe, happy, and comfortable is the best feeling in the world. We have our moments, but, like, the best moments are the ones that we share together.
Yeah, I think there is something very special about marrying your first love, and you go through all of your firsts together. Like, you get to share that, like, this is special because this is both of our first time, like,
Yeah,
we know
doing the dirt deed, but like,
But also, like, you guys got married, you guys had the experience of going through pregnancy, having your child, raising that child, and it's just every new milestone, you get to go through it together. Yeah. You get to experience everything together.
I feel very blessed in that way, and that's why I don't feel bored. I just think, like, there's so much more we can do, and I get to do that with, like, the person that I love the most in this world, and, like, now 2 people I love most in this world. Like, how amazing is that? And I feel very, very happy with that, And, of course, there's other, temptations out there, but for me, I'm like, it's cool. I'm happy with my relationship, and I feel very fulfilled.
Yeah, I think the people that are asking that is they're thinking that you're going to be the what if. What if I, down the line, get a little bit bored or what? I don't think that's going to happen with you, to be honest.
Oh, but, thank you.
You know that movie Sex Life?
Yeah. Yes.
Where that woman has, like, the perfect marriage, but then she starts thinking about her first love, and all the what ifs happen, and it ends up ruining her life, basically.
Yeah, and, it's like a tale of caution. Like, don't give in to that temptation, especially when it's going to have horrible, detrimental effects on your relationship now. And again, it's like, if you want something new, talk about it with your partner. And as long as you guys understand each other, then maybe you can find a solution. You know, like I know a couple of friends that have an open relationship and they're happy because they're both honest with each other and they like living that lifestyle and that's great for them. And they still got married. Like that's amazing, right? And it doesn't mean that you have to restrict yourself to being like the perfect wife, the perfect girlfriend, the perfect partner for somebody. Like it's not real life. What is real is the way that you feel and the way that someone else makes you feel in that relationship. And when you feel safe and happy and loved, then you're in a great place. And why would you look for something else when you already have it right there in front of you?
Oh, definitely.
So enough reminiscing. This brings us to the end of our episode. We hope you enjoyed and look forward to drinks next time. Bye.
Bye.